That, in my opinion, is a great rule. 2 years ago, I was in the minor leagues with the Giants, and I was sitting there in the stands watching minor league games. I was rooting for extra innings because it was so exciting, and you get to see all this strategy happen in one inning. You know you're not going to be there all night. You have a pretty good idea when it's going to end. I think the fans are going to love it. I think it's a great rule, and hopefully it'll be a success and we can stay with it.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I'm glad he's sold.
I can feel the cynicism.
Mike Petriello, Adnan Verk back with us now. Is it? Go ahead. Is it?
Great setup.
I mean, look, because again, for this year, John, I'll talk to John.
It's a great rule this year.
We understand. For this year, whatever you got to do. Yeah. But sell me on this, why it's so great.
Well, I'm not going to sell you on it because I didn't really like it at first either. But I dug into the numbers and I've sort of talked myself into it. Right?
Okay.
The whole point of the rule is, we have this shortened season. We have a pandemic. We don't need 7-hour games that go 19 innings. We need to end the game more quickly. Come to a conclusion. Yep. I would have been fine with ties. We didn't go with ties. All right.
I think this is, by the way, this is better than ties.
Don't like ties.
Ties are terrible.
Ties bad.
Well, what we have
ties,
here,
no. Okay.
We have the advantage of the minor leagues have done this for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So we can actually go back and see what happened because everybody's terrified it's just going to be sack bunt, sack bunt, sack bunt. That sounds horrible. I don't want to see that. So the first thing I did was I looked back and, we saw what did happen, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for games that ended after a single extra inning, 73% of the extra inning games ended after 1 inning the last 2 years. And before they had the rule, it was only 45%. So like it or hate it, it's going to do what it's advertised to do, right? Mm-hmm. Full stop there. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, whatever. But then people are freaked out about bunts, and I really don't think that's going to happen, right?
Actually, no. Can I just jump in for? I guess I can.
It's your show.
I'm not freaked out about bunts. I think if you said we're going to load the bases for extra innings, that's like fascinating in its own way. So even if you're sacrifice bunting to get the guy to third, at least there's some real strategy and thought involved in, are we better off with the guy on third with 1 out, or do we want 3 hitters to take a shot at a single? Which do you think?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of this rule normally, but for this year, I think it's a good rule. I don't think we're going to see a lot of bunting. I wasn't expecting that. What percent did they bunt? Do you have the percentage?
Well, it sort of depends on if you're home or the road, right? Because if you're the visitor, you don't want to play for 1 run.
Right.
The home team's coming up with a man on base already. But I can tell you, we have the numbers here. When the visiting team came up, they only bunted, I think, about 30% of the time, right? Yeah. Home team's even less than that. Overall, it was like a quarter of the time teams bunted over. Now you'd maybe want to do it. You can see the numbers here. You'd want to do it if you're the home team and you're tied and you have a really weak batter up, then sure, maybe you'd consider it. You really don't ever want to do it if you're the home team and you're losing. You shouldn't really do it that much if you're the visiting team in the top of the inning. And then you can see on the bottom there, well, what happened when the visiting team did actually lead off with a bunt? They won less often than when they didn't. So the strategy wasn't there. Didn't actually happen that often.
So it didn't help on the by and large the last 2 years in the minors.
And you're never going to bunt with Mike Trout, right? You're never going to bunt with Anthony Rizzo. If you have Billy Hamilton or Jeff Mathis up and you can't replace them, then okay, fine, maybe you consider it. But people are afraid this is going to be like 90% sack bunts, and I really don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that would happen. Now, you're the numbers guy. I'm not the numbers guy. Is this a bigger advantage to be the home team, though? It feels like it is.
Very much so.
Yeah, it feels like it would be a big advantage
because you know what you need.
Team.
Think about it in the NFL, right? The team that gets the ball second, if you need to match a field goal or push for the touchdown, it's the same thing here. If you're down by 1 run, 2 run, or tied, that's a huge difference in what your strategy is. Because if you're tied, then maybe it's sack bunt. But if you're down by multiple runs, you got to get the runs crossed.
I'll say this, fellas. Sometimes some ideas seem gimmicky, and this is gimmicky. But in hockey, people hated the ties. And said, okay, let's try the shootout. And at first you go, shootout, really? That's going to determine win-loss?
Shootouts are great.
And people love them.
Shootouts,
they love them.
You got to sell immediately on shoot.
It's outstanding. So you never know. Maybe you like it.
I do know what a shootout is, but how about a home run derby? We could end.
No, see, that's nonsense.
That's too gimmicky.
I don't know. Why do I love shootouts in hockey, but I hate home run derby? There's something still real about the skill level of a breakaway that it feels like hockey, but a home run derby to me doesn't feel like baseball. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how
the goalie can stop it, right? Isn't that part of it? There's no fielders, right? In hockey, the goalie can do something.
Right. Yeah, and a home run derby, what are you going to put a pitcher that's playing ball with the guy? Like, does Bryce Harper get his dad? Or are you saying there's another pitcher?
There's no competition. It's all one-sided.
So let's do a shootout for this, then.
So everyone gets a Joey Votto would be great. Canadian. Great.
Where are we? I mean, to throw that at you, out of nowhere. How about if we just said rule, for this year especially, I'm glad no ties. Like, I'm already fine with this rule.
100%.
What if you loaded the bases? every half inning.
Why not? To your point again, this year, for a lot of people, is a write-off, right? We're just going to try new things. Robot umpires, why not? Automated strike zone, sure. Like, just give everything a chance. Bases loaded to me is interesting because literally one swing of the bat, then you might go suicide squeeze.
Right.
People don't like butts. A suicide
That's what
squeeze,
I mean.
that's fun.
That's a challenge. You must.
No,
you have
I don't
to,
like that.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. We have too much emphasis on the strikeout as it is. Now, if you just load the bases, they're just going to put in the biggest fireballer they have.
Aren't you going to do that anyway?
Not necessarily.
If you're in sudden death, you should have your relief
put in
ace
your
out
best.
there.
Well, that doesn't mean the guy who has the most strikeouts necessarily. It just
Not
feels like it puts
necessarily,
too much of a premium on striking the guy out, the first guy out.
But Mike Stats pointed the fact everyone would think, they'd bunt station to station baseball. People are still swinging for the fences. They're still going to try to hit a home run anyways.
And if you look
Not
at
if the bases are loaded.
You know,
that automatically changes it. There's got to be some contact. At least if you're being efficient about it.
You know how hard it is for a pitcher to come in with the bases loaded? Like, we would see a huge amount of probably just walk-off walks because the guy is, like, trying his best to throw strikes and he misses the plate.
You know who would be back then? El Duque. That's what you need. Your bases loaded, nobody out.